Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Gers and today we are going to be working on our skill fruit tree garden that is going to be placed right here in the middle. We're going to do walkways, we're going to do the garden. It's going to look very green, very lush. If you like what you see on the thumbnail, don't forget that if you don't want to see the whole build process, you can go all the way down in the end of the video and see the whole walkthrough, how it looks during the day and night and everything that we did, and then you can come back and see the video. Now, part of this project is to make sure that all our pals can actually walk. So again, this is a build that is gonna be for small or medium pals. Anything bigger than that, don't always remember that you gotta then increase the roofing size. You gotta go about 2 to 3 high depending on the pile. You can still imitate it if you want to use the real big piles. Don't forget, you just gotta go a lot higher. All right, remember that. Okay, so what we're doing here, I wanted to extend the middle. I want to do this kind of cool walkways that is going to lead you to different area of the base, but at the same time I needed to make these squares where we're going to put the fruit skill tree, right? It's one of the things, and I really wanted to add it here. I think it's going to add this kind of cool looking feel of a garden, and I was like, you know what, I think this particular base is going to be perfect for this. So this is something that I really wanted to do. So as you can see here, I'm finding my center. I wanted to align the temple and the Parthenon together. Now the Parthenon is a little bit crooked, so we actually gonna have to take all of this down, the whole Parthenon, and kind of make a center to the walkway. So that is something that is gonna be very important for me. If you want to know how to build the Parthenon, right here in the corner right now is a link, so you can click on that link and see how we build the Parthenon. Is that something that you're interested in adding into your own base? But as you can see, I already took it down and already restructured it in the back, and now it looks nice and centered into the walkway. So the next thing that we wanted to do is I'm gonna go ahead and put the skill trees right here, the fruit skill trees, because I think it's gonna be like really cool. It has like this little orchard feel, and we're gonna make it look really green. We're gonna go all in on all these plants. Now, one of the other things that I really wanted the skill fruit trees to be is to face in kind of making an archway facing kind of the same, one facing the walkway and the other one facing the walkway. Now to do that, you actually got to plant the tree, right? Plant the fruit, and then you will see the shape of the tree. If you don't like it, then you gotta delete it and then put it again, flip it until you find, and kind of remember how many clicks are you doing when you're flipping it, so you can actually do it. Now in the squares over here, I'm actually kind of putting in the middle, because I want to surround this with a bunch of plants, so that is something important. But as you can see, I got one skill tree. You see how they're facing on this walkway? That's how I want it. You know, you can put in whichever way you want to. Here, as you can see, this one kind of facing the wrong way, so I actually have to like delete it, put it back up, now flip it, kind of get the center again, get it in the middle, and then rotate it and hopefully get it to the right way. So I kind of got it like on the first try, and I was kind of really happy, because if you imagine facing that way, so if that was the first thing, then you gotta flip it to the other side and then get it the right way. So that is something important, right? Depending how you want your trees to actually face. So as once you get done, then you plant the fruit trees that you want. You know, I did kind of one of each just for now, but I just needed 4, and I think I like this idea. And slowly, when I was doing this, I really like the feel of this. Now over here, I'm gonna go ahead and put all these pillars. Now there is 2 options for you. You know, you can go with the route that I'm doing right here, right? Because I kind of want to do like this glass roofing. At first, I was doing all the Japanese roofing, but it gave all these extra shadows, and it made the area feel very dark, very too much shadow. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to go for that, because I want when it's light out, I want this garden to look very bright, right? So then I decided, I did a little test, and I really like how the glass looks, so I went the glass. Or you don't have to put any roofing at all, and you can do everything else that I did on the build, and it will look really nice too. It's just depending on your decision and on your style. Now over here, what I'm doing in each of the corners of the little fruit skill tree, I'm adding the pillar. Now, part of the adding the pillar is because I want to do 2 effects. I want the bottom part to add this extra green very close to the area, and we're gonna do the little trick that we did earlier in the previous video, that we're gonna add the vines to make it look like a half bush, right, going up. And then the top half, because I don't want all this extra brown, all these extra pillars, so when you look, it's like pillar, pillar, pillar from the walkway and in the orchard. I don't want that. So we're gonna add the banners in, and we're gonna enclose it very high, outside, and it's gonna look really nice. And also it's gonna give you something else to look like. It's gonna give you that this little white color, and I think it looks really nice. Again, you don't have to do the pillars here. You can actually get away from the pillars and just do the next step that we're gonna do, that is all the plants, and I think that can work really well for you. All right, so as you can see, I'm doing the 4-way around. I like this because it really gives this extra greenery, you know, until we get more kind of plant life in Palworld. This is a really great way to add this little fake illusion of bushes. Now, as you can see from far away, that's one of the first things that I noticed, like, man, I just don't like the top half of the pillars. But, you know, that little light bulb clicks and you're like, oh, I know what I can do. Now, always my goal is to make bases that look really fantastic, really good, make them functional as well, but also not be so obvious where everything is at, right? So I just wanted to look as natural as we can, right? And as beautiful and as cozy. And I think this base is gonna be one of my better bases. And my original base, now that I'm moving things from that base to this one, that was gonna be completely done as a farm. So that base, you're gonna see very soon, we're gonna redo that whole base and we're gonna make an amazing farm, because I just want that particular area, that particular base is gonna be just for farming and breeding. So I can't wait to go back to the original base and start working on that. But for now, we gotta finish this base right here. As you can see, I'm adding all the way around the edges, and you're gonna do this in all 4 squares. We're adding all the plant, and all of this is gonna give you this very lush green. Now, at first it took me off because I was like, oh man, it looks so repetitive. But once you do it, and once you walk around the stone right here, man, I was like, okay, I like it. I like this a lot. You know, a lot of stuff is in your head and you envision it and you think it's gonna look good. Now, if you don't like how uniform it is, I kind of went on this direction. But what you can do, it's gonna take a little longer, but each time you put a plant, just rotate the plant. You know, do one click, then do the other one 2 clicks, do the other one 3 click, and then you will have something that looks less like uniform. If you don't like how, wow, every plant looks the same, then you can actually turn it and maybe look a little more natural. Now, I didn't do that because I felt like it was gonna take forever, and I honestly like the way it looks right now. I'm just placing them in order, trying to do it as close as I can, and just placing, and I really like what this did to this area. Once I did this, I really knew that this build is gonna work. It's gonna look good. We're gonna bring this beautiful area, and every time that I'm doing something, I am actually testing and making sure. And this is like the biggest trick when you actually in Palworld. You know, before, my biggest problem was that when I was building, I was taking all the piles away when I was building. Something new that I learned this time around is I'm leaving the piles because I'm doing a lot of test runs, right? Of course, I'm deleting a lot of those test runs because we don't want to make the video so extra long. But every time I do something, every time I do a walkway, I pretend to put something that they need to build. They need to do something to make sure that they can actually walk all the way to those areas that I really want them to go, because I want the pals to kind of walk around the base. That's something important for me. As you can see on this shot, we got all the greenery, everything's looking good. Now, that is the shot. If you pause it right there, imagine that you're not gonna do this roof and you can keep it open like that. Now, again, at first I did the Japanese roofing, and it created too much shadow. You can go with that roof if you want. I decided to go with the glass because it kind of lets the light in. I really like that. And adding this little glass, I just felt like it looks really nice. It gave it a whole different look. Now, that look that I like is because the way the buildings are reflecting on top of the glass. We're gonna do a walk and you're gonna see why. It just, I don't know, it just gives it really something that I truly enjoy. Now, as you can see inside the garden, we are gonna add the little stone pillars over here. I really like the way this actually gives it a look, especially when you walk in the area. So it's gonna look really nice. And as you can see, every time I'm doing something, again, I'm making sure that all the pals can actually come in and build, because that means that they can actually walk underneath the roof. And that's something very important for you to remember, is the pals, you know. Every time you do something, every time you add something, you really always want to test things out. But so far, everything is working the way that I really want to. Now, the next thing that we're going to work on is on the little pillars, because when you look throughout it, it's just too much of pillars everywhere. I just want the pillars to be on the walkway, but no inside the garden, even though we actually used one. So one of the ideas that I had is like, oh my gosh, what if we use the banner and we loop it around all 4 sides. And by doing that, I think it just gave it this actually really nice look to it. And I was like, I really like this, and it gives it this little white atmosphere, because when you're looking at it, it's not brown, it's not any other color, it's just a little bit of white, and it just gives you this feel for the build. I really like this. I mean, you could do more vines if you wanted to. You can add anything you want to. Maybe you like it like this, maybe you want to add the lanterns on the top of the pillars, and just to illuminate that area. Maybe you just don't like it with the pillars. Now if you didn't build the roof on the sides, then the pillars would not be a problem, and you can kind of leave them like that. You can make it all green all the way to the top. It's gonna be really up to you what is gonna be the feel and the idea that comes up to you. But I personally, I really like the way it looks, and as you can see, all the pals are following me. They're building, they're getting inside the area. You can see them on the walkway, and this is also a great way to know that everything is working the way it needed to work. But as you can see, all the grass, not the grass, but all the plants are coming together, working really great. You see the stone pillars, how they're kind of sticking out. I really love that. I think the stone pillars, adding them into these particular corners of the builds looks really nice. Now you can go a whole different route and add more of that if you wanted to, and then surround it with the plants you want to see it. I like seeing them on the inside, so I think I'm good for now. I do have maybe future ideas that I may want to do, try different ways to create another type of illusion garden. I have an idea. I kind of did a little test run, but it was not gonna fit in this particular build, so we're gonna save that for another day, for another build, for another type of way to connect and do more stuff like this that really takes the bases to another level. Because a lot of the idea is to create very beautiful bases and that are functional, but they look great and they're cozy. And that's always my main focus when I work on Palworld, is to create these beautiful bases that I love to look at. I love to be here. I want to walk around, and it just kind of brings me joy. Now over here at the end, we're gonna do this beautiful, again with the benches. We're kind of doing a fake little railway, even though they're benches. I just want something here that says this is the end. You don't want to go down here, you want to go all the way to the side and take the stairs. I think to me that is kind of like a very important thing. What we're gonna do on the top of the bench is do kind of like a little sequence of the different other plants that we have. Now I did started one, didn't like the way that looked too much, so I took out the white and we do a whole different sequence. But as you will see on the bench over here, one section's hanging. That is fine because it's kind of hidden between the lush. If I didn't have that green, I'd probably be like, no, this didn't work, let me see what I can do. But since it's hiding on the green, and I'm gonna add like another base over there just to give it that little extra greenery, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. It's just, it looks okay. But as you can see, we make this little fencing area. Now if Power give us other type of fencing, it will be really great, you know, so we can work on more beautiful aesthetic things. Now as you can see, I'm using this one first. At first I thought it was gonna look good. I didn't like it, me personally. You may like it. If you like it, you can keep it. It just didn't fit the vibe of the garden, so I decided to take it out. So I added this one in between. I really like this, so I decided to take out the white one and add the other Japanese one that is more like a little cherry blossom branch, kind of like, you know, that little look. And as you can see, we're gonna add it. I'm taking all the white ones, we're gonna add that one now. Once I added that, I really like the feel of this. But then eventually when we do our nighttime walk, you're gonna notice that I'm gonna do another sequence, and we're gonna add the lamps, the Japanese lanterns, and we're gonna add those in there, and that is gonna look really nice as well. And because I felt like it was a little too much, so by adding the lanterns and giving this beautiful walkway view of the garden with the lanterns, I just think it looks really nice. Now on the very top of the glass, I just felt like it looked too flat. I didn't like the look of it. I just felt like it needed something again to represent the little theme that we got going over here, that little Japanese theme that we got over here. And I figured that the actually stone lanterns will look really good on the top, and I gave a little test run and I actually loved it. I think it actually looks fantastic. Now this may not be for everyone. because and for you it could look like, oh no, I don't think that matches, but I really liked it. So especially because if you go up high in all your different houses or buildings, when you see on the top, you're gonna see all this glass. So by adding this, it just gives it a little more structure, and I feel like it does give it that little more of a vibe. Now I do wish that the stone lantern would actually have light. I don't know if it has lights. I can never tell, they always look dark to me. I wish they actually light up. It would be really nice. We don't have those. It doesn't require flame organs to create, so I don't think there has any lights, and I haven't seen anything that you can do like ignite. So I don't think you can. So, but it'd be a great little update. Just don't even give us another lantern. Just make this one that you can actually light them up, and it will be awesome because it will look really great. Now, I did a test run later on up here, and when we do our nighttime walkthrough, when you see the lanterns, I did a test run here, and I put lanterns on the very top here. And if you like that, it might be a good way for you to bring more light into the garden. I was not a fan of it. I actually like this more because it makes it feel more like a little structure. The lanterns just, I don't know, it wasn't for me, but you may actually like it. And if you like the lanterns on the top, but see over here how you see the stone, I just feel like it just gives it this little feel of like a structure. Now this little square here, I kind of wanted to match the oil machine. The whole reason this started was to hide the oil machine because it just looked very ugly, and I just wanted to hide it. I need it, but I just wanted to hide it. I don't want it to look so just out there and take away what we're building here. So this section here where we got our pile box actually worked out perfectly, and we were able to kind of imitate putting the glass, putting the vines, and kind of do that little enclosure area to match the other side. And I think that really helped the illusion of the area. So that's something that I needed. Now this here, we have this beautiful cherry blossom tree right here, kind of in the center of the Parthenon. Now that was this particular cherry tree, that was a truly happy accident. We know we can clip trees in, and it just happened the way I'm moving things in. It actually fell right in the middle. If this fell a little more in the side and I didn't like it, I would have chopped it down, but it fell right in the middle. I thought it was beautiful, and what I wanted to do is an illusion of floating lanterns. The way to do that is you do your benching. As you can see, I'm matching the lanterns into very close, right next to it, on top of it, of branches, and that makes it feel very real, like we got this lantern hanging. And then once you put the lantern, all you need to do is delete the benches and the lantern will stay floating, and I really like that. So I just went over here, I wanted to look at it from far away, and then came back. I like the illusion, I like the way everything was looking. So now we're gonna finish adding more of the lanterns, and as you can see, delete the benches and the lamp stays floating. I love this. I like that we can actually do that. I hope they never fix that item, because some other items, if you put them up on the benches and you delete it, it deletes the item too. So, but we just happen that the lanterns don't delete when you delete the support underneath it. So it's really great. Enjoy it. I hope they never take it away. Now another great idea, if you're a little more of the fantasy route and you don't like a little more of the realism route, then what you can do, you can actually do floating lanterns across your base. It's a really great way. Now please be careful when don't put them in particular walkways where your pals are working, because sometimes I tested it. Sometimes they walk right through it, and sometimes they get stuck and you see them stuck. So I don't know, it's because they're not supposed to be just blocking a pathway. So make sure wherever you put them in places that the pals don't actually need to go there and access. So test it, work it out. It's just my experience. Maybe you don't have that problem, but I faced it. So I do try now to not put them, if I want to do something like that, where the pals I'm going to work on. And I'm going to talk about that a little longer when we do the night walkway, and why I had to put the lanterns the way I did it, because it was blocking the pathway of my pals. So we're going to talk about it very soon. But as you can see, I put them hanging right over there. I really like it. I may add a little more on the top eventually, in the very top part, so that way at night it looks a little more illuminated. But as you can see, we're going to do a little walk on the daytime, and then we'll do a nighttime walk. So if you made it to this point on the video, I want to say thank you so much. I hope that you truly are inspired and enjoying our new base that we're creating here with all the stuff. I really love this little Japanese orchard type of garden with the skill fruit fruit trees. We got 4 of them. I really love the look. I feel like it's really connecting very well with all the pieces. I love seeing the house in the background, that those will change, and we want to make it fit the theme of we got over here, but those will make it look a little more like houses instead of doing this temple over here. So hopefully they'll look good, but we are definitely going to walk that. Here's the top view of everything that's looking in the garden. The fortress, as you can see, I've been moving my assembly lines from my older base, my first base that has everything, because I want this one to be a little more of the production type of base, and then the other base, my very first one that a lot of people still follow and do builds from those, we're gonna turn that into a full-blown farm, and I can't wait. But we need to finish this one, and then we're gonna go back to the other one. So I can't wait. I can't wait, because it's gonna be fun. Now that I'm making space over there, we're gonna be able to add all the other stuff, and I got plans, so it's gonna be great. But as you can see, we're gonna start walking the area. I think it looks very lush, very green. The whole goal of this was the green. If the green didn't work out, I didn't know what I was gonna do, and I really like that it looks very lush. Now I wish we had more plants, I wish we had more flowers, I wish we had more stuff. I don't know what Palworld is waiting when it comes to us, the designers, the people that love to build bases. It's such a good game. I don't know why they're taking so long to add more of the stuff that we truly need. But hey, we're gonna make do the best that we can, and that's what we're doing here today. And as you can see, the lush of the green really goes really great. Now, keeping it brown in the middle, that was done on purpose. I really like the brown in the middle. Now, if I had a little more space here, if I could go a little wider, I had another idea to do the greenery, but this is the best way it's going to work for us. Now, you see the reflection on the top of the glass? I really like this. This is one of the reasons I kept the glass. Now, again, if you want to be able to walk the garden, you don't need the roofing, you don't need the pillars on the side. You can actually take all that away. It will give you a different feel. Like when you stand over here, you'll be able to see the full-fledged home. Now, I like the reflection, and again, if you like the roofing but you don't like the glass, try the Japanese one. Again, what it's gonna do is, instead of letting the light come in and shine through the glass and keep everything illuminated, what it's gonna do is just give you shadows. So the walkways will be a little more in the shadows always. So it's a different look. So you may actually like that more, and then maybe you like it more from the top, and it will match the theme. I wanted more light. That was my choice, and I really wanted that. But you see the reflection, how you see the fortress over there that we're gonna tweak. I can't wait to work on that. I believe that's gonna be our next build project, is tweak that to make it match over here. Now, is the fortress, it's going, a lot of the stonework will stay as the stone. We just want to make sure the wood part matches, and I need to finish making everything. You see the machineries that we already got, the assembly lines. There is a lot more that I need to do to make it already official, and I got plans how to make that illusion look really nice and functional. And again, my builds, always the goal is to try to make them look as real as possible, and the machines in the proper location, still accessible by PAL. I want the PALs to get there and work, but I want them not to be out here. You know, the whole purpose and why I work so hard in this basis is to make them look as stunning and beautiful as possible, but functional and working. And again, in my style of basing, you really gotta work with small and medium piles. So there is some sacrifice involved to make this work. Especially, I don't mind the speed. I don't mind being slow. I can, you know, I don't need the fastest thing in the world, because I do prefer having bases like this. But don't forget, if you truly want your big piles, usually you gotta go, the real big ones, you gotta go, if my roof is 1 tile, then you gotta go 3 high. You can go up in Palworld, and that's the best thing. It'll make your builds really big, but it works. But I want my builds to feel as realistic as possible, as proportional as possible, especially to the player. So that's why I always choose small and medium piles. It's one of the biggest questions that I get. Why do I use the big piles? And it's because if I use the big piles, I can never do stuff like this. It just be really impossible. And not impossible, I can make it work, but it would not look as good. It just would not look as good. I really like the realism, and that's my choice. But don't always remember that if you want the big ones, don't forget, for them to walk underneath stuff, it has to be 3 high. That's one of the big ones. And sometimes they have to be 2 wide, your walkway. So just remember that. Remember those rules, and you'll be able to imitate a lot of this for your big piles. But remember that your builds, especially the width, will get a lot bigger. So what I make here will be kind of double the size. So Remember that. That's the most important. But when you see the whole build and the concept, I really like the way everything is coming together. I love the Parthenon in the back. At first, I thought I was going to have to take it out because it might not fit the aesthetic, but it actually did. And I'm so happy that it did because I really like it, how it fits the atmosphere here. And we're going to do a little more work in the Parthenon. That's another thing. I got to do a couple trials. Part of the front of the temple, I want to attach it to the fortress. That's something else we need to work on. I have a little square here because this is where you PAL box, you teleport, you land here. I want to do something inside there. I started to work on, but I was a little like, you know what, I'm gonna leave that for another time, not for this particular video. But I do want to do something there. But I love when you walk over here, love the glass reflection. I don't know, it just worked out a lot better than I thought. I wish I had a little more space, to be honest, but I already have some of the buildings. Sometimes when you build things like this, there will be compromises. Don't give up on your idea and your build. Sometimes you just gotta tweak. I really wanted to have a little more space, but I already have some of the main buildings here. So, originally what I wanted to do in the center was gonna be very different. It's just because of the oil machine and the way I ended up not liking just standing there. Then this idea evolved, and then it became this. And I really love it. I really love it. I love having the skill fruit tree here. And look at the walkway. Look at that. Look at this shot. And look at the reflection on the top. Now, imagine this without roofing. Then you will also see the actual building all the way to the end. So again, you got choices. You got options. Just make sure, give it a try, whatever you like. The great thing about this design also that you can put it in any base. It's a good centerpiece. It's a good garden piece. And you don't have to do the skill fruit tree. You can actually do this as a farm if you wanted to, as a big centerpiece. As I'm working on my farm, I'm already getting ideas. This helped me to understand the process of what I want. So yeah, I can't wait to start working on our Palworld farm. I think it's gonna be excellent, and that's gonna be a base just for that, and different piles to use for that, and do the ranch, and do the barn, and also do the breeding department. That's gonna be right over there. But I love this view. I love how the sun is going down. I love the greenery. Again, I will say it, the greenery, it was the most important thing for me because it was going to be important. I didn't want this to look brown. I didn't want it to look bare. I didn't want it to look empty. And again, making this happen really worked really well. Now, here's the nighttime shot. We're going to do the nighttime walk. For some reason, when I was putting all the lamps, I thought I was recording. I wasn't. So I don't have the portion of the video. That's why you never saw it on the spill build side of me putting the lanterns, especially in the garden. I do apologize for that. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. But here is the look, and I'll walk you through it why I did it, the way I did it. So this is the first time I'm using the lanterns. I think the lanterns in Palworld are beautiful, are excellent. Love the illumination. I want more of this type of items. I hope that they do. And I can't wait now to add more of the lanterns into the temple and to the home because it's going to be important. I do want that. I never done it. This is the first time, but I feel like the garden needed it. I thought it was very important so we can make the final illusion come to life. So as you can see over here, now, and you gotta be very careful because sometimes this type of stuff can block the walkway, especially like over here I already had the bench. If I put that stool that you see all the way inside, then the pals can't register to walk. So you gotta have so much space in a walkway for the pals to walk, even in small or medium. So I actually had to put the stool hanging halfway out into the other side, so then the pals can actually walk. And I had to actually test that, and they actually can walk if I put him the way I put him. So I'm happy about that. It still looks good. And I actually also had the lanterns in the floor. I tested on top of the roof, and I ended up, this is my favorite way they look right now. I like him like this, right in the middle, one lantern, and you put on top of the stool. I think it looks great. I wish we had another item that wasn't kind of like a stool, something more blocky, but everything is way too big. I don't want to do a barrel. I don't want to do a box or this. So the stool worked best for me. I'm gonna keep checking. I mean, there could have been a coffee table or something smaller. Don't know. I just went with the stool. I wanted to kind of like finish this project, but I actually like it a lot. So, but if you don't like this particular stool, you can use something else that will match your vision. And again, as the light comes on, you can see how the all the lights slowly kind of turn off. It's actually really cool. They even look good during the day. To me, that was important. I want to make sure that it just doesn't look up. And again, it has this little kind of already like illumination into the lantern, so I think it looks really great. One of my favorite shots. I just really like how this looks together. And then we made it right here at the end of the video. I really love the way this is coming. I can't wait to work on the fortress. I think what we're gonna do in the fortress and make it look is gonna be incredible. And this whole base functional, working, and all our production is gonna be in this particular base. The other one will become the farm, and then we got the other third base that we never done anything. They're just harvesting materials, so one day we need to work on that as well. The background of the houses, that will change. We need to work on those, but there'll be more content coming, more videos coming, more Palworld builds and scenarios. I still got ideas. They are taking a little longer than I expected, but I hope that you truly are loving what we're coming in. I hope this build inspire you for your base, for your area, what can be possible, and making it green, making it look beautiful. I think we did excellent job. I think we did a very good job, and everything's working really well, and I'm very happy the way this came out. But guys, I do want to say thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe so you don't miss any more Palworld builds, Palworld videos, or anything that we do on the channel, because we do play other stuff in the channel. And I'll see you all on the next one. Alright guys, see you later. Bye.